echoes in the hall. In a secluded house on the outskirts of town, Alex was spending the weekend alone while his parents were away. The house, a family heirloom, was known for its creaky floors and antique furniture. On the first night, Alex was awakened by the sound of footsteps echoing through the hall outside his bedroom. Assuming it was just the house settling, he tried to ignore it. However, the footsteps grew louder and closer, stopping right outside his door. Curious and unnerved, Alex opened the door to a dark, empty hallway. As he stepped out, the temperature dropped sharply, and he could see his breath in the air. The house was silent, too silent. He walked down the hallway, guided only by the moonlight streaming through the windows. As he passed the old grandfather clock, it struck midnight, and a sudden chill ran down his spine. The footsteps started again, this time coming from the end of the hall, where the old library door stood ajar. Inside, books lay scattered, and a faint light flickered from behind the shelves. Drawn by an inexplicable urge, Alex approached the light, finding an ancient book open on a stand. The pages turned as if caught by a breeze, stopping on a chapter titled "The Echoes of the Past." The room grew colder, and the air filled with whispers of names and dates long forgotten. Alex felt a presence behind him, and as he turned, he saw a shadowy figure dart through the doorway. The chase led him through the winding corridors of the house, each turn revealing glimpses of figures dressed in old-fashioned clothing, disappearing before he could get a good look. The echoes of their laughter and conversation filled the air, growing louder with each step. As Alex reached the main hall, the front door swung open on its own, revealing the dark, dense forest surrounding the property. The whispers beckoned him outside, into the woods, where the true nature of the house and its former inhabitants awaited to be uncovered. Stepping cautiously onto the porch, Alex felt an irresistible pull towards the forest. The moon hung low, casting long shadows that twisted and writhed like living entities. The trees seemed to lean in closer, whispering secrets in a language lost to time. As he ventured deeper, the house's lights flickered behind him, as if signaling a warning or a farewell. The forest path, overgrown and barely visible, led him to a clearing where the moonlight illuminated an ancient stone well. The air was thick with the scent of moss and decay. Alex noticed that the well's stones were carved with strange symbols that seemed to glow faintly in the moonlight. Overcome with curiosity, he peered into the abyss, only to see a reflection, not of his own face, but of a young woman with sorrowful eyes, mouthing silent words. Suddenly, the ground trembled, and the well's murky water erupted in a geyser of cold mist. The figure in the water reached out, her hand breaking the surface, beckoning Alex to help her. As he extended his hand, the forest erupted in a cacophony of voices, and the trees bent as if bowing to an unseen force. Behind him, a path illuminated by ghostly lights appeared, leading to an old, decrepit mansion, half consumed by the forest. Its windows flickered with shadows of life from centuries past. Drawn to the mansion as if by destiny, Alex felt the pieces of a forgotten puzzle falling into place, connecting him to the land and its ancestral secrets. With each step towards the mansion, the whispers grew clearer, recounting tales of lost loves, ancient curses, and family betrayals. The mansion's front door creaked open, inviting him into its shadowed halls, where dust-laden portraits of stern-faced ancestors lined the walls, their eyes following his every move. Deep within the mansion, a dim light flickered, guiding Alex to a room where the past and present were about to converge, unveiling truths that would bind him to the house forever. Alex hesitantly crossed the mansion's threshold, the door closing silently behind him, as if the house itself had taken control. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of aged wood and forgotten memories. The dim light led him to a grand staircase, its banister polished by the hands of time. As he ascended, the portraits on the walls seemed to watch him, their expressions changing subtly, whispering fragments of hidden stories. Reaching the top, Alex found himself in a long hallway lined with doors. The light guided him to the very end, where a large, ornate door stood slightly ajar. Pushing it open, he entered a vast library, its shelves burdened with ancient tomes and manuscripts. In the center, under a solitary beam of moonlight, lay an open book on a pedestal, its pages fluttering as if touched by an invisible breeze. Compelled to read, Alex approached the book, noticing that the pages contained a history of the mansion and its lineage, dating back centuries. His eyes were drawn to a particular section that recounted a tragic tale of a young woman, the same one from the well, who was wronged by her family and cursed to remain within the estate's bounds, her spirit bound to the land. As he absorbed the tale, the room grew colder, and a soft voice echoed, narrating alongside him, filling in gaps and whispering dark secrets of the mansion's past. The voice, full of sorrow and rage, seemed to emanate from the very walls. Objects in the room began to levitate, swirling around as the spirit's story unfolded, revealing a tale of betrayal, lost love, and a quest for vengeance that tied the family's fate to the estate. The swirling items in the room started to form images, playing out scenes from the past, showing the young woman's life and the events leading to her untimely demise. Alex, now completely absorbed in the narrative, failed to notice the shadowy figures gathering in the doorway behind him, drawn to the unfolding story and bound to the mansion's cursed legacy. These apparitions, members of the family who once lived here, maintained their distance, watching with a mixture of regret and longing. Their presence suggested that they were key to unraveling the full extent of the curse and possibly breaking it. The young woman's voice grew stronger, urging Alex to delve deeper into the mansion's dark history, to uncover hidden rooms and sealed away secrets, guiding him on a path that would reveal the truth about the curse and his own connection to the house. Driven by the narrative's force, Alex felt an invisible thread pulling him away from the library. Through the shadowy figures that parted silently for him, the mansion seemed to breathe and live, its corridors and staircases unfolding like the petals of a nocturnal flower, revealing paths not previously there. He descended into the lower levels, where the air grew denser, the scent of earth and decay hinting at long-forgotten secrets buried beneath the mansion. In the bowels of the house, he found a locked door with a crest that matched the one from the story in the book. The lock, old and rusted, clicked open as if recognizing Alex as its rightful key. Beyond lay a series of underground chambers, each telling more of the mansion's history through the artifacts and portraits they contained, chronicling the family's rise and fall and their dealings with dark forces to maintain their power and wealth. One chamber, lit by torches that ignited at his entrance, contained a large, circular table set with 13 chairs, each bearing the name of a family member. In the center of the table lay a detailed map of the estate, with locations marked in a script that seemed to change and move under Alex's gaze, hinting at hidden places and buried secrets. The air here was heavy with the echo of past conversations, plotting, and plans whispered in the dark. The torchlight cast shadows that danced and twisted, merging with the room's atmosphere of dread and anticipation. As Alex touched the map, the room shook slightly, dust falling from the ceiling, and the sound of chains dragging echoed in the distance, leading him to the next part of this subterranean world. Following the sound, he came upon a large, iron-bound door, screaming on its hinges as it opened to reveal a dimly lit hall lined with cells. Within these cells, spectral figures moved restlessly, moaning and whispering the tales of their imprisonment and the injustices they suffered at the hands of the mansion's owners. These spirits, once servants or enemies of the family, were bound here, their fates intertwined with the mansion's dark history. In the deepest part of this dungeon, Alex found a cell unlike the others, larger and with symbols etched into its walls, glowing faintly with an otherworldly light. Inside, a figure shrouded in shadows beckoned him closer, its identity tied to the core of the mansion's cursed legacy. As Alex approached, the figure began to unravel the final threads of the story, offering a glimpse into the true extent of the family's betrayal and the source of the curse that bound them all. The shadowed figure, with an aura of both authority and tragedy, spoke in a voice that resonated with the very stones of the mansion. As it recounted its tale, the air around Alex shimmered, and visions of the past materialized like ghostly echoes. The figure revealed itself as the architect of the mansion's curse, a powerful ancestor wronged by his kin, seeking retribution beyond the grave. His story intertwined with that of the young woman in the well, their fates sealed by a forbidden pact made in desperation and love, now entwined with the very essence of the estate. As the tale unfolded, the walls of the cell seemed to dissolve, expanding into a vast, shadowy realm where the boundaries between time and space blurred. Alex saw the mansion's construction, built upon ancient grounds steeped in forgotten rituals. Its foundations laid with stones carved from the cursed well. The estate, he realized, was not just a home, but a complex ritualistic construct designed to harness and control forces, both arcane and dreadful. The ancestor spirit, bound to the mansion, guided Alex through the labyrinthine corridors of time, showing him the cyclical nature of the family's tragedy. Each generation faced the consequences of the original sin, their fates marked by the rise and fall of the mansion's fortunes. The visions revealed hidden rooms, secret passages, and lost chambers filled with arcane artifacts, each piece contributing to the complex tapestry of the curse. Guided by the ancestor spirit, Alex navigated through these temporal and spatial mazes, each step bringing him closer to the heart of the curse. The mansion, alive with the energy of centuries of betrayal, love, and revenge, began to reveal its core, a place where all the lines of the family's fate converged. Here, the true nature of the curse awaited, a nexus of power where Alex would uncover the means to end the cycle of tragedy, or perhaps be consumed by it. The journey led him to an ancient chamber beneath the mansion, older than the building itself, where the earth's raw energies pulsed through carvings that depicted the celestial alignments and earthly ley lines. At the chamber's center stood an altar, upon which lay a tome bound in shadowed leather, its pages alive with whispering voices and shifting script, offering forbidden knowledge and the promise of a final resolution to the centuries-old curse. As Alex approached the altar, the mansion trembled, as if aware of the impending revelation. The spirits of the mansion, both benign and malevolent, gathered around, watching with bated breath as Alex prepared to uncover the last secrets of the ancestral curse. His actions poised to either free the estate and its inhabitants from their eternal torment, or plunge them into a new era of darkness. Alex, drawn to the shadowed figure in the cell, felt a chill as the air around him thickened with unspoken words and suppressed agony. The figure, cloaked in darkness, began to reveal its form, showing the visage of a man once powerful and feared, now reduced to a spectral echo of his former self. He introduced himself as Edward, the patriarch of the family who had built the mansion and initiated the curse that now held them captive. Edward's voice, filled with remorse and sorrow, narrated the origins of the curse. He spoke of a pact made with a dark entity to protect his family and estate from ruin. In exchange, the entity demanded a continuous tribute, the spirit of a family member every generation. Edward, blinded by greed and desperation, agreed, not realizing the pact would bind his family's souls to the mansion, forever reliving their torment. As Edward recounted the tale, the walls of the cell shimmered, revealing fleeting images of the past. The family's rise to power, the construction of the mansion, and the dark rituals that sealed their fate. With each generation, the family's fortune grew, but so did the entity's hold over them, manifesting in the mansion's expansion and the strange, unnatural occurrences within its walls. The ghostly patriarch detailed how, with each passing generation, the family members became more entangled in the mansion's dark legacy, their actions driven by the invisible hand of the curse. Secrets, betrayals, and murders stained the family's history, each act tightening the entity's grip on their souls. Edward's tale was interrupted by a sudden, ominous rumbling beneath the mansion, as if the very foundation reacted to the unearthing of its dark past. The dungeon shook, stones grinding against each other, and a new pathway opened, leading deeper into the earth. Edward urged Alex to follow the path to discover the heart of the curse, a place where the dark entity's power was strongest and where the curse could be confronted. With a heavy heart and a mind swirling with the revelations of the mansion's grim history, Alex stepped into the newly revealed passage. It sloped steeply downwards, the air growing colder, and the darkness almost palpable. Swallowing the light from his torch, whispers filled the air, not just from Edward, but from countless others, the collective voices of the family's ancestors, each sharing their piece of the cursed legacy. The path ended at an ancient, cavernous chamber, where the walls pulsed with a dark energy, and a massive, heart-like structure throbbed in the center, veins of shadow stretching out towards the mansion above. This heart, imbued with centuries of dark rituals and sacrifices, was the source of the mansion's curse, beating with a life of its own, feeding on the family's corrupted legacy. Alex realized he stood at the precipice of understanding, with the power to perhaps end the curse or become its next victim. The throbbing heart awaited, its dark whispers promising truth and tempting with lies, as the shadows in the chamber coiled like serpents, ready to reveal the final secrets of the mansion's damned legacy. In the oppressive silence of the chamber, the heart's whispers became more insistent, its pulsations echoing through the cavern like the beat of a drum in a silent world. Alex felt an overwhelming sense of dread and fascination as he approached the heart, the shadows around him writhing in anticipation. The air was thick with the power of unspoken pacts and broken promises, the essence of the dark entity that had entwined itself with the family's fate. As he drew closer, the heart's surface shimmered, revealing scenes of the family's history in a grotesque display. Moments of joy overshadowed by dark deeds, each generation's descent into madness and despair, all under the entity's manipulative gaze. The heart, Alex understood, was not just a source of the curse, but a repository of the family's sins and sufferings, a living record of their pact's price. The The entity, sensing Alex's presence, began to communicate directly with him, offering cryptic clues about how the curse might be broken. It spoke in riddles, referencing forgotten rituals and hidden artifacts scattered throughout the mansion. Each piece a part of the puzzle that had sealed the family's doom. Compelled by a desperate need to uncover the truth and end the suffering, Alex left the chamber, the entity's whispers echoing in his mind, guiding him back through the underground labyrinth. As he retraced his steps, the mansion seemed to respond to his newfound knowledge, revealing hidden doors and secret passages that had remained unseen. His journey led him to a secluded part of the mansion, where a small, neglected garden lay hidden behind a vine-covered wall. In the center of the garden stood a statue of an angel, its face sorrowful, hands outstretched as if offering solace or begging for release. At the base of the statue, an inscription worn by time hinted at redemption through sacrifice and the possibility of severing the dark pact. Alex's search through the garden unearthed a series of clues: ancient family heirlooms, cryptic letters, and a locket containing a portrait of the woman from the well. Her eyes filled with the same sorrow he had seen in the depths of the mansion. Each item pulsated with energy, as if imbued with a life force, tethering Alex to the next phase of his quest. The artifacts led him deeper into the mansion's heart, where the lines between past and present blurred, and the spirits of his ancestors appeared more frequently, no longer just whispering echoes, but tangible presences, reenacting their final moments and revealing the depth of their despair and the entity's cruelty. With each revelation, the mansion's oppressive atmosphere grew heavier, the shadows deeper, and the whispers louder, converging on Alex in a maelstrom of voices, urging him toward an inevitable confrontation with the dark entity. At the center of this storm of spectral activity, Alex discovered a grand ballroom, long forgotten and shrouded in cobwebs, where the final piece of the puzzle awaited him, a piece that promised to unlock the truth of the curse and his role in its ultimate fate. In the grand ballroom, shrouded in the remnants of opulence and decay, Alex stood before an ancient altar, its surface covered with arcane symbols and dust. The whispers of the past crescendoed into a deafening roar, as if the mansion itself was urging him forward. The air crackled with energy, the shadows pulsating in rhythm, with the dark heart deep below. With the artifacts he had gathered placed upon the altar, Alex began the ritual hinted at in the cryptic texts and ancestral whispers. As he recited the ancient incantations, the atmosphere thickened, and a vortex of spectral energy swirled around the room, enveloping him in a maelstrom of lost souls and whispered secrets. The heart of the mansion, the entity's cursed core, began to beat faster, its dark influence seeping through the floors and walls, converging on the ballroom. The entity itself, a formless shadow, emerged from the vortex, its presence overwhelming, filled with malice and centuries of pent-up rage. In a moment of clarity amidst the chaos, Alex realized that the ritual was not meant to banish the entity, but but to transfer its bond from the family to him, offering release to the trapped souls in exchange for his own enslavement. The sorrowful eyes of the woman in the locket, the ancestor bound to the well, met his gaze, imploring him to make a choice. Driven by a desire to end the cycle of suffering, Alex altered the ritual's course, weaving his own life force into the incantations, offering himself as a sacrifice to free both the living and the dead from the mansion's curse. The entity, sensing the change, howled in fury as the ritual's power surged, binding Alex and the dark force in a spectral duel. As the struggle reached its zenith, the heart exploded in a blinding light, severing the mansion's dark tendrils and shattering the chains of the curse. The entity, weakened and bound to Alex's will, was consumed in the ritual's fiery blaze, its screams fading into silence. The mansion trembled, the oppressive atmosphere lifting as sunlight broke through the dark clouds for the first time in centuries. Spirits of the ancestors, freed from their torment, ascended in a luminescent parade, their faces peaceful, expressing silent gratitude before dissipating into the light. Alex, his sacrifice accepted, felt a profound peace as he joined the flow of departing souls. His last sight was of the mansion, rejuvenated and free from darkness, a beacon of hope in the dawn's early light. Thus, the curse was broken, the mansion released from its bond to the dark entity. It stood now as a monument to the courage of one who faced the abyss and offered redemption to those ensnared by the shadows of the past.